Hello, everybody. I think I finally got this going and I can get into my Google Chrome, launch it. This is our week 7 guided project. Appreciate everybody's patience last night. I had a terrible class. I mean, everybody in it was wonderful. It wasn't that part. It was the technology not wanting to cooperate, and then we were having trouble understanding one of the videos that I tried to use from a colleague. He'd point and click at things so fast you couldn't see what he was pointing and clicking at. So hopefully we can do a little bit better today. And I can get us our week 7 guided project. So use the Google on Citrix so that when I go to my course and download my start file and my resources file, they're all going to be right there on the Citrix server. So go into my class and in modules come down to my week 7 guided project 4-3. I'll click here and download my start file. I'm not going to open it here. And then I'm going to download my resources. And this I am going to open. And I'm going to make sure it gets extracted. So yeah, I'll hit extract, extract all, extract. And here's my resources folder. So it'll be there in downloads when I get ready to pull in my pictures or my data. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Citrix and launch Office or Excel 2019. Once it opens up, I'm going to open other workbooks and browse and go to downloads, and I should see my file. Enable editing, and I like to do my split screen with my directions. Sometimes it cooperates and sometimes it doesn't. Okay. I used to do this so much easier. Now I have to mess with it. All right. We enabled editing, opened our file. We're good with that. We're not changing anything, so we don't have to worry about that. All right. We're going to copy and paste the past and projected sheet. So I'm going to right click on it and go to move or copy. And click create a copy. Make sure and check that box. And I want to place it before criteria. And once it comes up as past and projected to, then I can double click down here and give it its new name, ADV filter. Okay, I'm on ADV filter now, and it wants me to select A4, which is up here at month, down to E60. Once I select it, the quick analysis tool pops up down here at the bottom, and I'm going to click on that and go to tables and click table. Now we're going to scroll up and go back to A5. Click in A5, which is the January 2015. We're on the Design tab. Table styles. And it's saying hit the more button, and I'm not seeing it. There it goes. Okay. So if I expand it all the way, you can see table styles is an entire section, and there is the more button. Okay. And I want the third one down under medium that says white table style medium 15. All right, now we're going to select A4 to E4. That's our headings up here. So I'll do a Control C and then come over to G4 and paste it. Control V. Now I'm going to come to G3 and type extract range. And click off of it, click back on it, and then go make it Cambria, which is a few down from the Calabri, and dial it up to 16 point. Okay, next we adjust the column widths for G to K to show the labels. You can see this one isn't so nice. I can easily just drag that one out a little bit, and that fixes that, and it looks a lot better. Adjust the row 4 height. Adjust row 4 to a height of 33.75, and you can do it with your mouse. You can see here it changes. It's usually real hard for me to get right on it. I just did, which is hard to believe. So I usually come to Format and do row height, and in here I can type in exactly what they're asking for. Okay, now we're going to create the filter. So we've got this data here, and we're going to filter it based on some criteria that we're about to set up on the criteria sheet. Okay, so criteria is going to be for month, we're going to click in A3 and do greater than 12/31/18. And then I'm going to click in image and type MRI. Go to A4 back under month and greater than 12/31/19. And then over an image, click CT space scan. Okay, so here's our criteria. Click on cell A5 on the Advanced Filter tab. So go back to the Advanced Filter tab and click on A5, which is the January 2017. And then we're going to go to the Data tab. And on the Data tab, in the Sort and Filter group, click on Advanced. This brings up my advanced filter, and I want to copy to another location. I'm going to verify my list range is A4 to E60 with the dollar signs. Now I'm going to click in this criteria range box and then click on the criteria tab and then select A4, A2 to B4. That's our criteria. Make sure you're getting the headings in with all of this. A2 to B4. Then we click down in the copy to box and I'm going to click on advanced filter and G4 to K4. All right, so we should have copy to another location, A4 to E60 is the list range. The criteria range is criteria A2, B4. Copy to, that says advanced filter. Oops. All right, well, in a second. Advanced filter, G4 to K4, and OK. All right. If your data is not looking like this over here, I suggest starting over at this point because you're not going to get the correct results if your table is not looking like this at this point. I hate to tell you to start over. You can try to undo and redo it one more time, but I wouldn't try redoing it more than once because you just end up getting frustrated. It's easier to go back and just start over. We haven't done a whole lot, and you can quickly walk back through what we've done so far. But your table over here should be looking like this now. Okay, sort data in the output range. So we're going to click on cell G5. And go up here to sort. And we want to sort by, and when I hit this drop down, I should see image. This should say cell values and A to Z. Okay, next we're going to add a level. And where it says them by, we're going to sort by, them by, month. So we sort by image and then by month. And it should say cell values and oldest to newest. Click OK and close that out. And we're now on number 8. Conditional formatting and borders. Select the cells with values in column I. So all the numbers in that column, I'm going to select those. Click the conditional formatting button. I'm back on the Home tab in the Styles group. Didn't make it to Home. Styles group, conditional formatting. And I want to highlight cell rules. Greater than 750 came up by default, and that's correct. I want to hit this drop down though and get green fill with dark green text. And click OK, and you should see the 1000 number is the one that's highlighted because that's the only one that is greater than 750. There are some that are equal, but none that are greater than except this one. So it is green fill with dark green text. Okay, so select all of this table except for the top row and come to borders and get all borders. Press Control Home and that should take you to the top of the page. All right, now we're on number 9. We're going to import a comma separated values text file. So we're going to click on the Expense Info tab. This is what it should look like. And we're going to click in cell A4. Go to the Data tab up top. And in the Get and Transform Data group, the one up top left is from text/CSV. You can also click here and pull in other file types as well. We get the Import Data tab, and mine just happened to point to my downloads where my data is, or my resource file was, and I had unzipped it, so there's my file. All right, I'm going to move this window over because I have to be able to read my instructions. Hey, you can click import there or double click it, I think is what I did. And we want to verify that the delimiter is comma. Then we're going to click this drop down next to load. That's why I don't like that it says click load, because when I first did it, that's what I did. And that's not what you want. So you click the drop down arrow next to load, which it says click the load arrow. So if you do what they say, you get it right. But then load to. Existing worksheet is what we want to check. Table, and then A4. Okay. And there's our data. So it pulled in the table from that file and put it in our current worksheet. Now we're going to cut and paste or drag and drop. I prefer to select it, do the cut, and then come down here and paste. Select cell A5 and click Convert to Range button. I'm on the Design tab for tables. And we have Convert to Range. This will permanently remove the query definition from the sheet and convert the table to a normal range. And that's what we want to do. You can leave it linked in with the other data as well. But here they want us to hit OK. Select cells A4 to D31, so that's the titles and the data. And on the Home tab over here is, it's supposed to be a pencil with an eraser looking thing for clear. And we're going to clear formats. I'm going to come up here and change my font size to 11. Select the labels in row 4 and center align them. I'll then select column C. Come here to where it says General and go to Short Date. Okay, then I'm going to select columns A through D. So all 4 of the columns. And it says set the size, so I prefer to come to Format, Column Width, and type in the 12.14. Okay, it says deselect the columns, so you can just click anywhere off of the columns to deselect. Close the Queries and Connections pane. And click cell A5. That's a weird combination. You should have put this with this, but okay. Click the Sort A to Z on the Data tab. And you see now all the names are in alphabetical order. Click the Subtotal button. So I'm still on the Data tab. In the Outline group, click the drop down and go to Subtotal. Our at each change in should be last name. We're going to use function. We want an average, not a sum. Verify or choose amount in the add subtotals to area, and then click OK. Format the values in column D as currency with 0 decimal places, so I can select all of column D, come back to the Home tab. Where it says General, I'm going to hit the drop down and get currency. It said no decimal places, 0 decimal places, so I'll decrease the decimal places and get rid of those. Now we're going to collapse 2 of these different groups, choosing the minus sign next to their name. So they want us to collapse Allen in row 8. And then I'm going to scroll down a little bit. If it'll let me, there we go. And I want to click next to McAllister and minimize his. Create a pivot table, and they want us on past and projected sheet. So mine, I had to come back a little bit here. You can use these arrows to go back and forth if they're not showing all of them, or you can use this to pull them out and give them more room to display. But I need past and projected, and select A4 to E60. That brings up the quick analysis tool, and we're going to go to tables, and it wants you to look at the different versions, but then we're going to select the one in the middle with sum of number of employees, sum of total hours, and sum of patients by image. Okay, notice that came up on a separate sheet and it named it sheet 2. We're going to double click down there and rename it pivot table. Drag the month field in the rows area in the pivot table fields. These are the fields down here. So that are the rows area in the pivot table field pane. So we're going to pull month out of here and put it back up here. All right, it didn't work. There we go. And it pulls it out of the rows. Click in cell C4. Click field settings. So we're on the pivot analyze tab. In the active field group, click that and go to field settings. Then we're going to go to number format and choose number. Click the radio next to use thousands separator and dial decimal places down to 0. Hit OK, and OK, and OK. Apply the same number format for the sum of patients field. So I've always repeated what I just did, but I remember now that I have this format painter tool, so I'm going to use it. Double click it and drag it down on the numbers, and voila, it worked. I don't know why I've never thought till now to do it that way. That's exactly what that's for. And we only had to do it twice there. Imagine you had to do it like 10 times for 10 different columns, and that would really come in handy. All right, click the More button, the Pivot Design. Okay, so we're on the Pivot Tools Design tab in the Styles group, and click the More button. We're going to scroll down till we see dark. And the second one under dark is 8. The one to the right of that is 9. Dark gray pivot style dark 9. Select banded rows, all right, which is right here, and then banded columns, which is right below it. And you see how nice that made this table look. All right, now we're going to create and format a pivot chart. This is a pivot table. We want to see a chart. Sort of click on the pivot chart button. We're on the Analyze tab and Pivot Chart. We're going to go to Bar, and then the second one is Stacked Bar, and click OK. I'm going to move this down. Top right's going to be at A12, and I'll let it go. I then have to scroll down to get it to show me where 30 is, and I'm going to drag the bottom corner, well, no, scroll over a little bit first so you can see J. So now I can see where they want. If you're better at clicking and dragging, you don't have to scroll first, but I have to see where I'm going and then let it go at J30. Okay, so now that I'm on a pivot chart, there's a pivot chart design, analyze, and format. We're on the Design tab. Click the More button under Chart Styles and get the Style 8, which is the one that's got the black background. We're going to hit this change colors drop down, and I want monochromatic palette 1. Deselect the number of employees box in the pivot chart fields pane, pivot chart fields, and we're going to deselect number of employees. Click cell A1. All right. Now we're on to 15, export data using the clipboard. We'll go to the ADV filter sheet tab, starting at cell G4, select the entire extract range table, hit copy, on the home tab. That puts it on the clipboard for us. Right, now they want us to go open the Word document that we had in our resources file. So we'll come back to Citrix, open the Word document, or open Word 2019, open other documents, browse, downloads, and there's my resource folder, and there's the Word document. Enable editing. Now I'm going to pull it over here to the side and get my directions back. Click Control End to go to the end of the document. We're not just going to paste, we're going to hit the arrow under paste and do a paste special so that we can tell it that this is a Microsoft object. Select Paste Link radio button and click OK. And there it goes. That's the data from our table. Click the center button. It centers the table on the page. Save the Word document. And I don't think we submit the Word document. I think we just have to submit our Excel file. Let me make sure I hit save on it before I come try to upload it. Make sure I'm not telling y'all wrong. Right, I don't have to submit the Word file, just the Excel file. All right, please let me know if you have any questions. That went a lot better than last night. My apologies to anybody who was in the live session last night. Y'all were wonderful. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.